This must be done by repeated suggestions. Practice the following mental exercise several times a day, and especially just before going to sleep. Think quietly about the subconscious mentality, which permeates your whole body as water permeates a sponge. As you think of this mind, try to feel it. You will soon be able to become conscious of it. Hold this consciousness and say with deep, earnest feeling, I can succeed. All that is possible to anyone is possible to me. I am successful. I do succeed, for I am full of the power of success. This is the simple truth. Realize that it is true and repeat it over and over until your mentality is saturated through and through with the knowledge that you can do what you want to do. You can. Other people have, and you can do more than anyone has ever done, for no one has ever yet used all the power that is capable of being used. It is within your power to make a greater success in your business than anyone has ever made before you. Practice the above auto-suggestion for a month with persistence, and you will begin to know that you have within you that which can do what you want to do. And then you'll be ready for the next section, which will tell you how to proceed in doing what you want to do. But remember that it is absolutely essential that you should first impress upon the subconscious mind the knowledge that you can. Chapter 3. Having filled your mentality, conscious and subconscious, with the faith that you can get what you want, the next question is one of the methods. You know that you can do it if you proceed in the right way, but which is the right way? This must be certain. To get more, you must make constructive use of what you have. You cannot use what you have not. Therefore, your problem is how to make the most constructive use of what you already have. Do not waste any time considering how you would use certain things if you had them. Consider simply how to use what you have. It is also certain that you will progress more rapidly if you make the most perfect use of what you have. In fact, the degree of rapidity with which you attain what you want will depend upon the perfection with which you use what you have. Many people are at a standstill or find things coming their way very slowly because they are making only partial use of present means, power, and opportunities. You may see this point more plainly by considering an analogy in nature. In the process of evolution, the squirrels developed their leaping power to its fullest extent. Then a continuous effort to advance brought forth the flying squirrel, which has a membrane uniting the legs in such a way as to form a parachute and enable the animal to sail some distance beyond an ordinary leap. A little extension of the parachute jump of the flying squirrel produced the bat, which has membranous wings and can fly, and continuous flight produced the bird with feathered wings. The transition from one plane to another was accomplished simply by perfecting and extending functions. If the squirrels had not kept leaping further and further, there would have been no flying squirrel and no power of flight. Making constructive use of the leaping power produced flight. If you are only jumping half as far as you can, you will never fly. In nature, we see that life advances from one plane to another by perfecting function on the lower plane. Whenever an organism contains more life than it can express by functioning perfectly on its own plane, it begins to perform the functions of the next higher or larger plane. The first squirrel which began to develop the parachute membrane must have been a very perfect leaper. This is the fundamental principle of evolution and of all attainment. In accordance with this principle, then, you can advance only by more than filling your present place. You must do perfectly all that you can do now, and it is the law that by doing perfectly all that you can do now, you will be able to do later things which you cannot do now. The doing to perfection of one thing invariably provides us with the equipment for doing the next larger thing, because it is a principle inherent in nature that life continuously advances. Every person who does one thing perfect is instantly presented with an opportunity to begin doing the next larger thing. This is the universal law of all life, and it's unfailing. First, do perfectly all that you can do now. Keep on doing it perfectly until the doing of it becomes so easy that you have surplus power left after doing it. Then by this surplus power, you will get a hold on the work of a higher plane and begin to extend your correspondence with environment. Get into a business which will use your strongest faculties, even if you must commence at the bottom. Then develop those faculties to the utmost. Cultivate power consciousness so that you can apply your faculties successfully, and apply them in doing perfectly everything you can do now, where you are now. Do not wait for a change of environment. It may never come. Your only way of reaching a better environment is by making constructive use of your present environment. Only the most complete use of your present environment will place you in a more desirable one. If you wish to extend your present business, remember that you can only do it by doing in the most perfect manner the business you already have. When you put life enough into your business to more than fill it, the surplus will get you more business. Do not reach out after more until you'll have life to spare after doing perfectly all that you have to do now. It is of no advantage to have more work or more business than you have life to do perfectly. If that is the case, increase your vital power first. And remember, it is the perfection with which you do what you have to do now that extends your field and brings you in touch with a larger environment. Bear in mind that the motive force which gets you what you want is life, and that what you want, in the last analysis, is only an opportunity to live more, and that therefore you can get what you want only through the operation of that universal law by which all life advances continuously into fuller expression. That law is that whenever an organism has more life than can find expression by functioning perfectly on a given plane, its surplus life lifts it to the next higher plane. When you put enough of yourself into your present work to do it perfectly, your surplus power will extend your work into a larger field. It is also essential that you should have in mind what you want, so that your surplus power may be turned in the right direction. Form a clear conception of what you seek to accomplish, but do not let what you seek to accomplish interfere with doing perfectly what you have to do now. Your concept of what you want is a guide to your energies and an inspiration to cause you to apply them to the utmost to your present work. Live for the future now. Suppose that your desire is to have a department store, and you have only capital enough to start a peanut stand. Do not try to start a department store today on a peanut stand capital, but start the peanut stand in the full faith and confidence that you will be able to develop it into a department store. Look upon the peanut stand merely as the beginning of the department store and make it grow. You can. Get more business by using constructively the business you have now. Get more friends by using constructively the friends you already have. Get a better position by using constructively the one you now have. Get more domestic happiness by the constructive use of the love that already exists in your home. Chapter 4. You can obtain what you want only by applying your faculties to your work and your environment. You become able to apply your faculties successfully by acquiring power consciousness, and you go forward by a concentration on today's work, and by doing perfectly everything that can be done at the present time. You can get what you want in the future only by concentrating all your energies upon the constructive use of whatever you are in relation with today. An indifferent or half-hearted use of the elements in today's environment will be fatal to tomorrow's attainment. Do not desire for today what is beyond your ability to get today, but be sure you get today the very best that can be had. Never take less than the very best.